Welcome to July. You've made it. The year's halfway over here in 2025, and we're going to recap the market stats for the real estate market here in Prescott, Arizona right now. We're going to go over what's going on in the inventory, what's going on with new listings, number of sales, the price, as you can see here on this side. My cool thumbnail. Prices are going down. That is not clickbait. Prices are going down, and I'll tell you exactly how far down they're coming so far. And we'll end up on days on market. So without further ado, let's jump on into the stats and see what is going on. Little Home Alone look. Because that's what you're going to be thinking when you see the slide on prices. So anyways, let's hop on into this now. Homes for sale, Prescott, Arizona. Before we dive into the numbers too much, I do want to preface this that this is data pulled from the Prescott Area Association of Realtors, and it is specifically for Prescott, Arizona zip codes. This does not include Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, Dewey Humboldt, Paulden, Mayer, any of the other zip codes here in the area, in the Quad Cities area. So this is just Prescott specific. I will do a video on Prescott Valley, and keep an eye out for that if you want to know the stats over there. So let's dive into Prescott, Arizona homes for sale. As of the end of June, we are up to 828 homes for sale on the market right now in the MLS. Key takeaway, this is a huge jump from last year, which last year we were at 674 right here. In 2019, so pre-COVID, we were at 689. So before last year, which a year ago, that was a huge jump from post-COVID reality in the market. Now we're up even higher than that. 828 homes to choose from, 154 more than were on the market this time last year. If you are a buyer, thumbs up, great news. Means you have more homes to choose from. If you are a seller, thumbs down, bad news. Means you have more competition on the market. Next slide. So we're going to look at just listed. This is a new stat I've incorporated into this presentation starting in this month. And the reason I pulled it is because if we're going to really look at supply and demand and what's happening on a month-over-month basis, we need to not only know the total supply of homes on the market, which was that last slide I just showed you, we also need to know how many homes are actually going on market versus how many homes are coming off market by being sold, and then that'll give us our surplus. And then we can stack that onto our inventory, know how much we're really growing inventory month over month. So just listed, we had 225 new homes that came on the market in the month of June, which is a significant drop from 277 here in the month prior. So May 277, June 225. Why we're having a roller coaster drop like that, I don't know. I don't know if it's sellers getting discouraged because they're starting to see prices come down, or because of the other homes that are on the market they have competition for right now. But just know, yeah, we always see a spike in inventory anyways historically. Look at this, March starts to ramp up, April, May. We tend to see a cooling off in June, but not that drastic of a cool off. So let's look at last year, for example, the blue line, 242, cooled off to 216. So something to keep an eye on for next month is, let's see where this goes. Is it going to keep plummeting down here in 2023 category? Because we're pretty much on pace with 2023, which was at 224. Or is it going to flatten out like it did last year in 2024? If you have thoughts on it, drop them in the comments below. I want to know what you think. And this is an open discussion. This isn't just, telling you what my thoughts are. This is an open discussion. Feel free to share in the comments. So right now we have more new homes on the market compared to last year that came on the market in June. Moving on, so this is the demand side of our supply and demand numbers that we're looking at. This is going to be the number of homes sold. So you can see last month in June we were at 119 homes sold in the Prescott area. This is a 6-year low. I only went back to 2019 in the stats. I could go back further. I think once we start getting too far pre-COVID, it's just not worth looking at. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go that far back. I want to go 2019 so that way we have a baseline of what reality was pre-COVID. And then, with COVID, we had the craziness in the red and the blue and the black spaghetti models here. So that's 20 and 21. Starting to see some kind of normalcy from the white, which is 2023, and the blue, 2024. So 2025, this year we started good compared to last year, and rates were dropped a bit. That's why they were dropping. I think they were down just below the mid sixes. Then we saw them spike again. So, anyways, yeah, 119 for June. So sales, demand down. Last year was 11 home sales more in the month of June. So we're not too far off pace from last year, but it's a 6-year low. Like, that's where we're at. So what does this all mean? Why am I harping on this and going into too many details on all this? Because that directly affects the supply, which then directly affects the price. And we'll talk about that next. So supply in months. So the way we look at this, if you haven't watched one of my videos before, is as real estate professionals, we talk about the market in a number of months of supply. So going back to June, we were at 7.8 months of supply. Excuse me, it's been a long day. I started at 7 a.m. With a buyer final walkthrough on a home that's closing yesterday. So sorry about that. I was up and out of the house extremely early this morning compared to normal. June, 7 months of supply in June. This is a tipping point, and let me tell you why. Look it up online, Google it, use AI to search it, ask it what is a balanced market. Most of the time, it's going to come up and it's going to say somewhere between 4 and 7 months. 4 and 7 months of supply. Here we go. My hand doesn't go up that high. Anyways, 4 to 7 months of supply. Some things will say 5 to 7 months of supply is going to be a balanced market. Anything under that 5 months of supply mark or 4 months of supply mark is going to be a seller's market. Well, folks, according to the data from the local Realtor Association, we have entered a buyer's market in Prescott, Arizona. 7 months of supply means a buyer's market. If you're a seller and you're watching this, or you're thinking about selling your home and you're watching this, I am not throwing ether. I'm not throwing terms out there loosely to try to scare you or anything like that. I'm just spitting the facts, and the facts say that it is 7.08 months of supply on the market right now, and the price is reflecting that, because remember, in a buyer's market, that means there's more homes on the market than there are buyers in the market on a consistent month-over-month basis, and inventory has built up to a point at which if sellers want to sell, they have to come down on their price because they're competing with other sellers in the same market for the same buyers. Everybody has a different urgency level when it comes to selling. Just know that those with the highest urgency level will be the ones dropping the price lower than an agent, you, Zillow, whatever website might say your home's worth. There's going to be people out there selling their homes for less than that, and that is going to drive the price down. So current market status is a buyer's market in Prescott, Arizona. And the stats continue to show that. If we look here, sales price has dropped. May, median sales price was $625,000, which was not a record. 22 was the record. In May of 22, we hit almost $670,000 median sales price for a house in Prescott, Arizona. Last month, we were down to $558,400. This is a significant drop month over month from May. We were at 625 and we went down, 50, 60, almost 70 grand in 1 month. That's a pretty significant month over month change. We'll need to watch the numbers for July, see where this blue dot moves into, see if we're going to see more of this, 22, 23, 24 business, or 22, we're pretty much on par with it. And then it bounced back up and then down, up, down, like a roller coaster, right? So if we see 25 bounce back up in July, we'll know it was a fluke. It was something something minor, an outlier, so to speak. But if it goes down, if it continues to drop month over month in July, which I think it will, because we are at that 7 months of supply number, That's going to be my prediction. Prices will be less in July than they are in June. If you're a buyer, good news. If you're a seller, there we go. That goes to my thumbnail, and you're going to be feeling it. So, sellers, if you're thinking about selling, might be getting on that while the getting's good. You could wait it out and see what happens the next couple months, but it's a 50-50 shot. Based on supply and demand and economics 101, prices drop when supply is higher than demand, and that's what we're seeing happen. So it's not my prediction isn't based in unreality, right? So yeah, let's move on from that. Year over year. Let's go back to this real quick. So year over year, so 24, we actually saw it go up from May to June, just kind of different. 23 we had a little bit of an increase, but we saw a pretty good little jump. The exact opposite this year. So 13% decrease median sales price year over year in Prescott, Arizona. Moving on. Sold to list percent. I love to put this graph in here because this educates you as a buyer or a seller. It tells you what homes are actually selling for versus what the seller has them on the market for or what they're wishing to get for them. As of last month, there was 97.6% is what homes were selling for on average versus the list price. This isn't taking concessions into consideration. If you don't know what concessions are, shoot me a message. We'll chat, and I'll bring you up to speed on that seller concessions or buyer closing costs. I can bring you up to speed on that real quick. But anyways, so that translated backwards is a 2.4% discount off of the list price for last month. With the drop in price as significant as it was, I am surprised that this wasn't more. Being in May, it was almost identical. It was 97.5. So that tells me sellers are probably being a little bit more realistic in general of the price. We have seen significant price decreases with the homes that are on market. So that's probably what happened is sellers came to grips with what's happening, dropped their price. Buyer said, hey, I'll pay that price. Or, you know what? I would like a 2.5% discount, please, off of that price. And deals were made. So deals are still being made in the current market. Just know, buyers, if you come in at 10% off of list price on a house, you're probably not going to get it. If you come in at 5% off of list price on a house, there's probably going to be some negotiations involved. If you come in at 2.4% off list price, odds are that you're probably going to get that as a discount. So sellers, just think about what I said backwards. So translating that 2.4% into our median sales price, that gives us an average discount of 13,400. Days on market. So this will be the last thing that we're going to look at is going to be days on market. You can see that's jumped. So May of this year, we were pretty much on par with 23 and 24. The market does heat up, even though we saw the sales didn't increase really this year, month over month over month. It's inventory still went down on days on market through May. 24, we did see a jump from May to June, and we're also seeing a jump this year. From May to June, we're seeing a more significant jump than we did last year, month over month from May to June. So we need to keep an eye on that too. See how high that's going to get before we hit the winter season when it really does ramp up. So 69 days on market really isn't that bad. That's pretty on par for us. I mean, you can see what's happened, over the last 4 years here. And in 23 and 24, it's pretty on par. I'm not seeing a red flag or anything crazy here. So I mean, it is higher than it was the last 2 years, but that's a direct reflection of having a record high inventory amount for the last 6 years. So anyways, yeah, we need to keep an eye on that though, see how much it really goes up. I do predict come winter It'll be over 96. It'll probably be over 100 days by December if we keep going up the way we're going. So that's a wrap on today's market stats. Let's just do a quick recap on it. So just to recap this, inventory in Prescott is up. New listings coming on market are down for some reason. We'll keep an eye on that. Sales price, or no, not sales price. This number of sales is down, and price is going down as well. So, and then back to general supply and demand. General economics is supply is high right now with new listing or inventory on market. Demand is down with sales being down, so that's going to drive the price down. You guessed it. That's a. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to say thank you so much for joining me today. That is a finale. We're done. We've gone over all the market stats. If you have any questions about any of the stats in particular, please feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is listed below. I haven't said who I am yet. My name is BrentWofford. I am a local realtor here in Arizona, specifically Central Arizona. I'm based out of Prescott, but I do cover everything in the Prescott area, the Sedona Verde Valley area, Flagstaff area, over to Williams, and back down. So if you have any questions about any of those markets in particular, I'd be happy to help pull data for you on those. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more of these market reports. My goal is to get these now to switch to a weekly factor. So last month I did a bunch of these in one day. I think I did like 3 market reports back to back to back in one day, and I was, to be honest with you, I was a little pooped at the end of that. So I'm gonna split it up, and I'm gonna try to do these weekly now, and I'm gonna pick a different zone. So like this week is Prescott, next week is gonna be Prescott Valley, the week after that will be Sedona. So if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out. Also, you follow me on social media. Just look up at AZRad Realtor. No dots, no spaces, no dashes. AZRad Realtor. Be happy to connect with you on there as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week.